We're back at CRS with the one and only Alex Miller.
I've heard that I'm the bar.
You are the
when
bar.
it comes to your mom. Yeah.
I love that, man. Being someone mom's love is not a bad thing in country music.
No, it is not. No. Mamas are a big part of it. Mine certainly has tried. And Dave Allen Coe's, I think she got run over, but you know.
That's true. Brother, I got to ask you this. I love what you do, and as a person on the outside, you have such a sweet demeanor.
Oh, well, thank you.
I've never met somebody that's said an unkind thing about you. I have asked people, I was like, is he really that sweet? And everyone's like, I've never not seen him.
Oh, well, man, that's great to hear. I got a lot of whippings as a kid. I think that has a lot to do with it, yeah. So thank you to Mama's
I was like,
hands.
you either grew up around a lot of older people in Kentucky.
I did,
or you
yeah.
got a lot of whoopings. Maybe both. Sometimes those go hand in hand.
They really do, yeah. they really do, especially there.
You have these mannerisms and phrases you say where I'm like, it reminds me of my grandparents sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you get mad, you say hell's fire and stuff like
I
that.
say a lot of things when I get mad. I'm just like everybody else.
How has this week at CRS been for you?
It's been great. I come to CRS to kind of get to see all my jockeys that are playing my songs and stuff. So, in fact, I just got done with a breakfast where I got to see a lot of them. So, that's my point in CRS is it's kind of a way for me to give back. I do dinners and things and just to say thank you.
Now, you haven't moved to Nashville that long ago, did you?
No, I haven't. I've only been here about 6 months.
Okay.
And it's a lot different than where I'm from, of course.
Of course.
I really enjoy it down here. I think I'm making some good strides and good ways, and I've made a lot of good connections already.
Well, we're in a position where we live in Michigan. You know, things are moving for us. We're trying to figure out, like, do we make the jump? So how did you know it was finally time? You've been doing all right in Kentucky. Why was it time to come down?
Well, there's only so far you can go up there, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you all feel the same way
Yeah,
where you're
yeah.
at too. There's only so far you can go. Everything is here. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe. I mean, I'm trying to think of a great example.
There really is nothing
If
like
you're a
it.
farmer, you can't move to the big city to be a farmer.
Yeah.
And if you're a musician, you got to move where all the musicians are, and that's right here in Nashville.
Yeah, for us, it's become this thing where it's like the first few times we came, it's like 1 or 2 people wanted to see us, and now when we come, it's like I don't have time. For like
you
everything.
you have to pick who you want to see.
Yeah, or you're just exhausted, and
Yeah.
it's like 30 minutes. So now that's when we start to be like, do we have to move here now?
It sounded like it to me.
Sounded like
yeah. You'd make a great team around town covering a lot of
well, I
concerts and
appreciate
stuff.
that, brother.
I mean that.
Well, let's talk about your new single. So I love how you promoted this. Tell me how you got in contact with Emily Ann.
Oh, that's an old friendship.
Okay.
We met on TikTok. You know,
Okay.
so I'm so glad it's back because I've met her and Belle France and a bunch of them on there. But I met her on there whenever Whole Lot of Little came out.
Yeah.
I reached out to her and said, hey, I think we would make some great songs together. And she said, absolutely. She says, I've been a fan forever. I was like, well, that's good. So we got together and wrote, and we knew a lot of the same people. I didn't even know it at the time, but the guy that's doing my producing and stuff works with her and writes a lot of her songs. I think he wrote The Building with her and a few of her bigger hits she's had. Jerry Sadler is the guy I'm talking about. But it was just a match made in heaven. And then whenever it More Country Than You came about, we got together. I had a write with a guy named Bill White, who's one of my favorite writers. He's a WSM old disc jockey here. And her and me, and he come in with that idea, and the song wrote itself in 2 hours. I mean, it was come together just like that.
That was going to be my next question was how fast. I was curious, like, because that's a song that is so tongue-in-cheek at times. And, like, so many little phrases and things like that.
Well, you know, the rivalry in the Kentucky and Tennessee rivalry. Like, I'm from Kentucky, and she's from East Tennessee. And I don't know if you know anything about basketball, but there's some big rivalry between Tennessee and Kentucky, UK. So a lot of that energy was channeled into the song, and you can hear it, especially all the lines like Blue Moon Shines, Old Kentucky Home, and she talks about Rocky Top. So, you know.
Yeah, we'll tell you Rocky Top.
Whatever. Yeah, I love Rocky Top, except when we're playing them.
Exactly. Amen to that. Amen to that. Let me ask you this. I've always wanted to ask you this because you love Kentucky music as much as we do. What is everyone is always like, what's your country music Mount Rushmore? What's your Kentucky music Mount Rushmore? Give me like your 4 or 5 that are like.
Keith Whitley would be on there.
Obviously.
You know, I like a lot of the local guys, like some of the guys you've never heard of before. But, you know, I'm a big Bill Monroe fan. I mean, you got to be a Bill Monroe fan. Gary Stewart is a Kentucky
underrated
guy.
Gary Stewart
Underrated
these days.
Gary Stewart. But he's coming. He's made a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah.
And then 4th, let's see, Monroe, Whitley. I mean, Skaggs. You can go with Skaggs or you can go with Dwight Yoakam. I've picked 3 giants. I'm going to go with Larry Cordell. And Larry is a great songwriter, and I actually wrote some stuff with him. And just give Larry a good shout out there. He's a good guy.
I love that. I love that. Now tell me, Alex, I want to know about your origin. I'm always curious where someone. So what's the first country song you remember being like, this speaks to me?
It's a song called "The Pan American" by Hank Williams, and I'll tell you the reason why that one spoke to me at 6. I was a big Thomas the Tank Engine fan as a kid. I used to watch that program all the time. And I asked my granddaddy, I said, what kind of songs in country music are there about trains? And that was the first one he played. He bought me a Hank Williams box set and had 3 CDs on it, and that was one of the songs. I think my dad actually bought it because I was at Walmart, and I said, that's got that Pan American song on there, Daddy. And I was like 6. So I was asking for Hank Williams records at that age. So it's been in my blood for a long time.
But is there a point where you were like, now it's my turn to make it? Because it's a choice. Because I know a lot of people who are like, this speaks to me. But you were like, it speaks to me so much, I have to speak.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting that.
Yeah.
I think whenever it really kind of hit for me as I was 6 and 7, and I was playing baseball at the time. That was a big baseball and soccer. You believe it or not, I was a baseball and soccer player. I thank God in my career, so that sucked. So because this turned into really good for the music wise, but. I started playing at I played a little talent show thing, and I played it's the Rural Heritage and Tobacco Festival. That's my hometown's little festival. It's the Tobacco Festival. It's a big bunch of chain smokers out there, watching us play. But anyway, so we were out there playing that, and I got up there at 7, and people really liked me. I dressed nice, dressed sharp, and from then on, I've been singing and
dressing sharp
and always. If you don't dress for the job you want, dress for the job you want to get. So. Anyway, but
I love that for you.
Tobacco Festival, that's where I started.
Now, speaking of your hometown, didn't you do a big homecoming show last year before you moved?
I did, and we're coming back.
What is the name of that theater?
It's the Lancaster Grand Theater.
I can tell you this.
I got a funny story.
Tell me, please.
So there's 2 Lancaster Grand Theaters I found out. There's one in my hometown, and there's one in Lancaster, England. And whenever I was promoting that show, I tagged the Lancaster, England one. So everybody in Europe was excited to see me, but there wasn't no way I was going to make that one.
Yeah.
And they'd even reached out to us and said, I think you've tagged the wrong one. Too bad you can't come over here and play for us. But, that was a great show. Sold out my hometown theater, and plan on coming back there in May.
I mean, I remember you promoting it. I was thinking, that's the perfect send-off. But also, you sold it out. What did that mean to you?
Oh, it meant everything. I got to see everybody I grew up with.
I picture the end of Big Fish is what this concert was like. Everyone in your life was just kind of
it was very much so, and that's a great movie. But it was awesome. Everybody that had helped me. That's what I liked about those kind of shows, especially close to home, is I get to see people that help me, and a big part of my career and big part of my life is the people that have helped me get to where I'm at. Musicians, promoters. Guys that book shows and this, that, and the other. I mean, all them guys, whenever they get to come see me play and stuff, that makes it all worth the while to me.
Absolutely. Well, what do you have coming up, Alex? Because I know you got this song.
Well, can I drop some news?
Drop everything.
I got a duet coming.
Ooh.
And it's not with Emily Ann, but it's with Tracy Byrd.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Everybody talks about the 90s and 90s music, and nobody has done duets with guys like Tracy Byrd, Tracy Lawrence, Neil McCoy.
Most of them.
And I don't know why they haven't, because them guys are still out there killing it every night. And I met Tracy in Indianapolis. It was a crazy. This whole deal is crazy how this song come about. I did an interview, doing not an interview, but a fair convention. They come fair buyers, they buy rides and entertainment. And Tracy was there. And I was going down to eat lunch with some fair people. I'm sorry I blew you off Pensacola, but I just had to do it. But Tracy Byrd was on the elevator, and the doors open, and there he stood. And he said, "You're Alex Miller." And I went, "You're Tracy Byrd." It was crazy.
My voice would have broke, too.
It was crazy. I was like, oh, my goodness. And we went and ate lunch. He said, "You want to come eat with us?" And I did. So, sorry, like I said, Pensacola. I'll get with you at some point. But so we did this. We ate and got to know each other. And a couple months later, I was doing another one of those in Pennsylvania. And his cousin, Jeff, said, "You and Trace need to do some songs together. And maybe cut one of his classic duets or classic songs and do it as a duet or something." I said, "No, I'll just give him the bird. Let's do that." And that's how this song come about, was that line right there. I told him, I said, "I'm going to go home and write that." And I did. Sent it to Tracy. Tracy said, I was asking him if he'd do it, and I didn't hear from him for about a week. He's like, "Well, I ain't a good sign."
Yeah.
But I heard from him, and he said, I sent it to Blake, and Blake said it was a good song for me, so you need to cut that. And I said, okay. I said, but if you and Blake want to do it, I mean, that's fine too, you know. But we cut the song, and it's coming out in April. And thank you, Tracy, and thank you, country fans. I think you're going to really love it.
Now, is it are we up tempo?
Yes. Yeah. It's like, well, I asked my neighbor was having a party. You know, it's kind of got that watermelon crawl feel to it.
Immediately went to watermelon crawl
exactly,
in my brain.
Exactly. Yeah, by design.
By design. All
By
right.
design.
What's the '90s artist you want to work with next? I'm curious now because I know you love this as much as we do. I know you
man.
mentioned a lot of great ones there. I think Neil McCoy and you would pair very well together vocally.
Well, I've opened some shows for Neil. In fact, whenever I turned 21, I was open for him. It was on my birthday. And he got me out there and sang in front of, made everybody sing to me in the audience, which was really cool. Thank you, Neil, for that.
If nothing else, you and him could do the Pledge of Allegiance together.
You know, we could.
You just got on there every day.
Or patriotic number or something. That would be cool. But I always liked the Shake, so if I ever did, that'd be a fun duet to do with him.
I think he's due up to be the next '90s legend that people are like, oh yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah,
like, he has so many.
He was
hits.
amazing.
And
so's Byrd too. You know, all those guys. There were so many of them, great ones that were right there at the same time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get. It's kind of like the 50s in country music. There were so many great ones in the 50s that are kind of looked over. And sometimes I think the 90s artists are like that too.
Yeah, when we were talking to Walker Montgomery yesterday, he told us that his dad has like no reference for how famous he is. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How do you just not?
Yeah.
He's like,
well, you tell Walker ain't no Ken. I know Walker good. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I love Walker to death.
Absolutely. That's Kentucky royalty.
That is a Kentucky boy right there.
Yeah, that's a Kentucky boy. Well, Alex, you got that song coming out. Are you going to be hitting the road a lot this year?
Yes, we're traveling pretty hard and heavy. I've got opening up for Alabama on a few dates, Red Atkins, and Tracy Byrd. So we're pushing that tune a little bit.
What's your Alabama go-to song?
Oh, play me some mountain music like Grandma and Grandpa used to play. I mean, you can't go wrong with that right there.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today, brother.
It's been a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure.
Yes, absolutely.